Welcome to Almost Agreeable.
Almost Agreeable.
With your hosts, Chris Nellison and Ed Harris. Hang around and listen to opinions on sports, movies, music, and whatever else pops in our head.
Welcome to another episode of the Almost Agreeable podcast. I'm Ed, and with me here as always is Chris. And we're continuing our Star Wars series, and of course we have to have a guest on for every single one, so we have one returning. We have Kyle back on.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, what's going on?
I think we talked about it when you were on last, that we wanted to get you back for another one of these. If not, we wanted you back anyways, but I'm glad you're back for more Star Wars.
Me too.
It's actually been real fresh in my head, because I've been, with The Mandalorian happening, I've been going back and watching, Rebels and Clone Wars and stuff. So, and actually my family was just up here for the holiday, and they were watching Attack of the Clones. So I was, in and out of the room doing other things while they were watching it. So it's a little fresh with me. When was the last time you watched it, Ed?
I'm not going to lie. Attack of the Clones is the one I've absolutely seen the least. It's absolutely the one I've watched the least. So the last time I watched it, honestly, probably it was when Disney Plus came out. Oh my god, that was a year ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
It was more than a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably January.
Okay. Well, I mean, the only prerequisite here is that you've seen it, so.
Oh man, I was no, I just watched it when Disney Plus came out a year ago.
Well, this year has been flying by, let's be real, right? This has been an interesting year. We've been in warp speed. What about you? When's the last time you watched the worst one of the whole troll?
It's my favorite one.
It's your favorite one?
It's not my favorite.
Okay.
But
it's your favorite one to talk about.
It's been a little while. Yeah, since probably Disney Plus came out, I watched all of them.
Yeah, same.
Before Mandalorian. I was I'm not starting it until I watch all of them.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good idea, because, Mandalorian is just doing so much as far as tying everything together and canonizing things that were considered borderline, is this canon or not? And Mandalorian's talking all up, and it all goes back to those prequels. And speaking of prequels, real quick shout out, if you're not following prequel memes on Reddit, you're missing out. So go ahead and do that. Jot that down. Okay. Jot that down. And then let's jump into Attack of the Clones here. So we last talked about Phantom Menace when we were here.
Yeah.
And essentially we end Phantom Menace with the death of Qui-Gon. Obi-Wan is now going to train Anakin. And Attack of the Clones picks up 10 years, I think? 10 years after Phantom?
10 years after.
So Anakin's a little dick immediately.
Yeah, just an angsty teenage guy.
How old would he be? How old was he in Phantom?
I don't know, 7, 6, something like that.
Yeah,
I would say a safe bet is 9. The little child actor that played him, I would say he was probably 8, 9, 10 years old.
Okay, either way, he's under 20 years old.
Okay, he's under 20.
He's under 20 years old, and
Wait, you know what? I fucked up. Because we don't pick up with him being a little shit yet. We pick up with some assassination attempt.
Okay, I was gonna say he's not a shit yet. He's not a shit yet, and I'm gonna put this out there up front, okay? And people always talk about Anakin's this whiny little kid. Why is he always bitching all the time? This, that, the other. He's always complaining. It's just genetics. Look at Luke. Luke is super whiny. Luke is extremely whiny. So you just see that. You've already seen that.
Right.
So going back and now seeing it is just well, yeah, of course he's whiny. That is literally Luke's father. So it's just unsurprising that he is this whiny.
Shut up. You're making good points and I don't appreciate it. Okay, we pick up with that assassination attempt on Padme, who's a senator now.
Mm-hmm. Senator.
Now that's going to be we have to remember that. She's a senator now.
She's not the
Okay,
queen.
we'll get to that, why that makes sense here in a little bit. But her life is in danger. So, of course, the council is because the plot, demands it, Obi-Wan and Anakin are going to go protect her. And off the bat here, we see Anakin, he's grown up a little bit. They've been on some adventures. Because the narrative we have from what Obi-Wan said in The New Hope is that they were good friends. And they've been on all these things together. So they meet up with Padme. Right off the bat, Anakin's got a hard-on for Padme.
Oh, immediately.
Man, it's 10 years in the making. He's just like, oh, snap. I remember when I told you were an angel, and that did it for you.
I made you jewelry, everything.
So, that's when we first see that Anakin's a little defiant, right? Because Obi-Wan's like, yo, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then Anakin just out of nowhere is like, we're going to find who killed you, Padme. He's like, whoa, no, we're not. Shut the fuck up, Anakin. Like,
He's like, hey, well, hold on.
That's not what we're doing here.
The council has not directed us to do anything.
Yeah, and he's like, why? And he's like, why are you questioning me right now? He gets...
He suns him.
He does.
He
in front of Padme.
Yeah, real quick.
Right. And I guess I have to mention that Jar Jar is still around, so that's fun.
The Sith Lord.
Jar Jar's pivotal, all right? Whether you like it or not, he's pivotal.
Well, actually, I just watched some episodes of Clone Wars, and he fucking is pivotal. So we can leave.
Is that the episode where he kills a bunch of things, or saves a bunch of the whole planet's life, basically?
No, that's a different one. But that one is good.
On accident.
Yeah.
It's all on accident. Jar Jar's just
accident.
lucky.
Yes.
So okay, progressing. We get to a point where the assassin we find out is actually, we don't know at this point, but it's Jango Fett.
Yeah.
And he sends a changeling.
Yeah.
Sam Wazell, I think is her name.
Oh, look
Sam
at this.
Freaking dang, dude.
Whoa,
I think. I had the action figure.
You know what?
Oh, snap.
I'll believe it anyway.
So she doesn't go to do the job herself, right? She sends fucking some little centipedes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little poisonous guys.
And, okay, this is why I want to point this out, okay? This whole sequence confuses me. Okay, how would you describe Anakin, right, in the sense that, you know that he is a go-getter, right? He wants to be the hero. He is impulsive as a young Padawan. Would you agree with with that?
Okay.
Okay. Obi-Wan's supposed to be the reserved Jedi Master here, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, so centipedes jump in. They're using Padme as bait. Anakin runs in, gets fucking lasers him to death.
Could have cut her fucking head off.
He could have, but he used the Force. Don't
real
worry about it.
close.
It's fine. Don't worry. Then Obi-Wan runs in. He sees the fucking droid escaping. Who should jump out the fucking window right now and fucking latch onto it?
Yeah, for someone who doesn't like flying, he flew
He
through that window.
Jumped out the fucking window, Okay, so I think that you could switch that, and Anakin does it, and it builds his character even more, right? Because that's what he would do.
I don't know. I kind of like the dynamic, function that really created. Just okay, yeah, sure, he's the reserve master, but it's still Obi-Wan fucks. He went out there and he was like, okay, I mean, he's still relatively young. He's going to take care of business.
Yes, he's got that.
Right, I think he only got the master because he was, and this is not canon anymore, but at the time, he was the only person to kill a Sith in 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So, and then eventually we find out that Darth Maul was in fact not dead. Spoiler alert.
Whoops.
So, but still, that's why he got to that rank so quickly. He is still young, so I get it. I get your logic. I can agree. I can roll with that because that's actually what happened in the movie. He did jump out the window, but it should have been fucking Anakin, okay? And then Obi-Wan jumps in the speeder and finds him.
Yeah.
But anyways, we go on this little chase. We catch up with, what's her name?
Zam Wazell.
I like that. And she's about to let him know, it was a Jango, it was a bounty hunter called blah, dead.
Dart.
And then jetpack, bye-bye.
Yep.
This was the first time you saw a Mandalorian other than Boba, so everybody who is a Boba fan.
Right, and a high contested item, too. Is everyone in here caught up with Mandalorian yet?
Oh, yeah. Well, I am.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course I am, but
So because at this point in this, if we're going back to nerddom and fandom, like I am.
Well, let's not spoil The Mandalorian for any listeners. We'll have our own Mandalorian episodes.
That's fair. Okay, so this is the first time we see a Mandalorian than Boba Fett.
And I'm gonna say this is the only time we've seen a Mandalorian because I don't think Boba is a Mandalorian. He is a clone who maybe is just raised with Mandalorian ways. So I'm gonna say Jango is the only Mandalorian that we see
In
That's fair.
a live action until the Mandalorian comes out.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that because and the cool thing about it is and we say this every time we do a Star Wars episodes, watch Rebels, watch Clone Wars, because you find out more about Mandalorians, about Mandalore the place. You find out what that's all about. If you're watching Mandalorian at this moment as it's coming out, it would do you a service to watch Clone Wars and Rebels, because it dives into that shit. But anyways, back to Attack of the Clones, which we'll get to why it's even called that here eventually. Jango Fett escapes, and now Obi-Wan is going to track him down, right? And Anakin has been tasked with protecting the Queen as she goes back to her home planet to hide out.
Senator.
Oh
Senator.
my God! Did I say Queen?
You did it.
I said fucking A.
You did the thing.
She's a senator.
She's a senator.
Okay, so I have a lot of problems with this, but I won't talk about them.
Okay.
Anyways, I don't know. You're gonna send a horny, angsty teenager who I don't know you weren't sure about when he was 9 years old to a nice little getaway planet. First of all, would you hide the senator at her? Is that a good hiding place for her, or home planet?
They'll never expect it.
Yeah, you're
Right
under the nose.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, as I was.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Great, cool. All right.
So yeah, and I mean not from this point on, but this middle portion of the movie is kind of going back and forth between this nice little love story of Anakin and Padme, and then to Obi-Wan hunting down this bounty hunter.
Right, don't forget that the archives are incomplete.
They're incomplete.
They're incomplete.
It's impossible.
Can we not ignore the fact that the librarian lady? I know her name. I know her fucking name. She's a Force user too. She's in Clone Wars. What's her freaking name? Anyway, she's a badass. I forget her name.
I don't know how I know the bounty hunter's name, but I don't know her.
She tells everyone straight up, like, he's like, oh, I'm looking for this planet. It should be in this system. She's like, if it's not in the archives, it doesn't fucking exist.
Right.
Essentially, that's what she tells him.
Because we know everything.
Yeah. The arrogance of the Jedi. Very on display here. And he has to go to his buddy at the restaurant.
Dex.
Yeah. Dex. He's like, the cloners.
He's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he's like, what?
So eventually he makes his way to Camino. And
It's like a stormy ocean planet.
yeah, huge ocean planet, and he's fallen down almost into the ocean. Like,
Yeah, well, he meets the Kaminoans.
he meets the Kaminoans, these long neck giraffe motherfuckers, and they're just like, "Oh, are you here to see the clones?" It's like, "Yes."
He's like, that's why I'm here.
Why I'm here.
Yep, sure am.
Sure. Like, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you totally nailed it. That's exactly why I'm here.
I'm here on council business.
I'm supposed to be here. I swear.
So, like, something here I want to point out. We get a name gets dropped, right? Sepha Diaz, Jedi Master Sepha Diaz, who we get to learn about not in the movies at all. It's a Clone Wars thing. So that gets thrown out, kind of as a viewer. You kind of have to accept that, like that someone had placed this order, and doesn't get expanded on in the movie. Which, whatever. As a casual fan, you can overlook that and just be like, okay, cool, there's clones. But Obi-Wan does make his way to the guy they used to make the clones. He finally gets to talk to Jango Fett. Sees his armor. We get introduced to Boba Fett. And we learn that Boba Fett is actually an unaltered clone of Jango.
Yeah.
So, tension, obviously, right away. When he's in there, he's like, hey, you ever made your way out to Coruscant? He's like, maybe once. He's like, motherfucker, I'm coming for you.
Maybe.
So,
Maybe not.
Yeah. And then he reports his findings back to the Jedi Council, and they're like, nah, we didn't authorize that shit, but we might use them later.
Like, you know what? That could work out.
Yeah.
That could work out pretty well. And then where does he go after that? He follows
He took
into
the ship.
Geonosis.
Well, no, before that, they have a nice little battle
Yeah, they have a cool
on
battle.
Camino.
That's right. That's right.
And can I just talk about how badass... Obviously, all Mandalorian Beskar armor is fucking badass. But, I mean, they have a nice little fight. Usually when you think about Jedi, you're like, yeah, no one's going to be fucking doing shit against the Jedi. Like, But Mandalorians are a different breed. I actually read, it is canon, that Mandalorians learned that Jedis obviously deflect laser blasts, okay, with their lightsabers. And so the Mandalorians were like, well, fuck these dudes. And they created their own ammunition, which essentially is like what we use, fucking bullets.
A gun.
A gun. Because you can't deflect those. They shatter when they hit the fucking lightsaber and the shrapnel hits the Jedi. Mandalorians thought about this. They're like, hey, fuck Jedi. Let's use real bullets.
We'll take care of this real quick. Slug throwers.
Yeah. Yes. So they have a little battle. Obi-Wan gets thrown off platforms, barely survives. Jango escapes, but not before Obi-Wan puts a tracker on Slave One.
Yeah. Which, may I say, is the best ship in Star Wars. I don't
Really?
Care. I don't care about the
You're going to put it over Millennium Falcon?
Oh, yeah. I love the Slave.
Because I think they're in the same tier.
Man,
if we're talking about tiers, so I'm going to throw it back to our sports episode and talk about tiers.
Some tiers.
There's tiers of ships, and Slave One and Millennium Falcon are in the top tier.
Slave One is
Razor Crest is in the second tier.
Razor Crest is cool, but yeah, Slave One's got a special place in my heart. I love that.
Yeah, I love that ship.
Does the Death Star count?
No.
Why not?
It's not a moon or a ship.
It's a space
It's a
station.
space
It's a
station.
space station.
It's not a ship.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say it's a ship.
It's not a ship.
I'm gonna say it's a ship.
It's not a ship.
Yeah, it's a ship.
It's a space boom.
It's a ship, and it goes at light speed and can travel to wherever and then blows you up. It's a ship.
Does it have light speed?
Yeah.
It has to have light speed.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah,
Yeah. How did it get
Yeah.
all the way from one place from Alderaan to Yavin? So
Yeah.
fast?
Yeah. Okay.
Light speed.
Yeah. Still not a ship.
Best ship.
It's not a ship.
Death Star, best ship. All right, so we see him put the tracker on there.
Okay, puts the tracker on. And we get to hear the best sound effect ever in Star Wars.
Yeah,
The seismic charges.
Seismic charges, which, man, they're so cool.
They're so cool.
Even in, like, the games, like, they just get the sound so well.
They do.
They nailed it, for sure.
But yeah, Obi-Wan, for hating flying so much, is able to avoid all of that shit. And follows Jango to Geonosis, where he uncovers, like, essentially the entire plot of what's been happening behind the scenes for all three of these movies. There is Dark Lord orchestrating a separatist movement to create a war. And Count Dooku is at the head of this movement, the separatist movement. Now, it's important to note that earlier in the film, Padme does mention that she thinks it was Count Dooku as part of this movement that we find out later is a separatist movement, which is star systems aligning against the Republic.
Yeah.
That's all that is. Obi-Wan gets captured, sends a distress signal to Anakin, who now, if we flip back over to their little love story, they have some flirtations and stuff on Naboo. He talks about how he doesn't like sand.
And then he goes to some sand.
Well, before he goes to sand, I want to talk about the senator line, okay? Because, like, Padme admits, like, yeah, I'm attracted to you too, like, but I can't bang you. I'm a senator.
I'm a senator.
Like, if anything, Anakin's got the excuse. I'm a Jedi. I can't fuck.
Yeah.
I can't love.
She's a senator.
She's why? What is that? What does that mean?
It's self-explanatory.
She's a respectful member
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
democracy.
Senators can't fuck?
And then you got this little dirt child. She's a senator, okay? She has standards.
Oh, is that what we're going with this? Is
Yeah.
that she can't because she's so high
You're
up?
not on
Yes.
this level. Yeah.
Yes. It's not where we're going with it. It's the truth.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. So they go to the sand.
So they go to
So
the
they go-
They go to the
Because
fucking sand.
he has a vision.
Yeah.
He
Of
has
his
dreams
mother.
Of his mother.
Right.
And so Padme's like, yeah, let's go check it out.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, I guess so. Nothing bad's gonna
And then
happen
we ended
or
up-
whatever.
We end up making our way back to the center of the Star Wars universe, Tatooine.
Fucking Tatooine, dude. I swear to God. Are you tired of Tatooine? Or
Fuck
do you
no,
just
dude.
love it?
I'm a big fan of the
it's-
Dune Sea.
Yeah, it's so nostalgic. I'm like, oh yeah, cool.
There's
Mos
crate
Eisley.
dragons and Sarlacc
Yeah.
pits.
I'm over it.
Nah,
I'm
man.
over
No.
it. So we have a whole galaxy of planets. We're going to visit the same fucking 5.
There's been...
We just went to Typhon and Mandalorian, so
I don't need
Spoiler.
Tatooine in every single series, show, movie, everything.
listen. Do you understand right now that the original trilogy, which Tatooine was a huge part of, came out in the 70s and 80s, which means boomers, to them, it's familiar. So you have to have it around to keep the boomer audience interested, because if they start seeing planets they don't know, they're going to be like, I don't know that planet, I'm a boomer, I'm not going to do that.
I will say that Star Wars Rebels did a good job of trying to stay away from there. I mean, they were primarily in Lothal.
They were only on Tatooine once,
Yeah.
if I recall, in Rebels, and he hasn't watched it yet. So I don't want to spoil it for him because he's going to. You're going to watch it.
I will.
It's good.
Okay.
I will.
It's really fucking good.
So
The trip to Tatooine I'm talking about is fucking
it's
fire.
So definitely, he goes to Tatooine and is like, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna go find my mom."
Yeah, no.
He doesn't.
Well,
Goes
no,
to see Uncle Owen, and is just like, "Oh, where's my mom?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, she got taken by Tusken Raiders a couple weeks back.
Yeah, dog, he's been chilling.
Like she's dead."
Yeah.
I got one leg.
I'm in a wheelchair, dog. Like, I can't ride.
Yeah, just like, "Oh, your mom's probably done."
Yeah, he's like, accept it. Your mom's dead. And he's like, no, I ain't doing that. I'm gonna go. Well, the thing is with Anakin, in that instance, if I'm gonna be serious, because we've been fucking around this whole time, is that, like, in his vision, she's not dead. She's suffering.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to him, that vision happened, at most 24 hours ago, before they flew to Tatooine. So he knows she's alive. So he's even more upset because you've given up now. I'm fucking going, you fucking one-legged motherfucker. Thanks for freeing my mom, but also thanks for letting Tusken Raiders take her, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm taking your speeder.
And he, yeah. And he goes. And this is maybe our first glimpse in live action of Anakin really kind of tapping into some dark side kind of stuff, right? The anger.
And that whole ride, while he's riding, just the soundtrack.
Oh, they're playing Duel of Fates.
I mean, it's...
Yeah.
They're playing Duel of Fates when he's doing it.
You can tell he's seething already.
Yeah. There's darkness coming.
Yeah. Even the visuals, like, the film of it is, like, a darker tone.
Yeah, it's
than
real
the
dark.
rest.
It's real, like, rusty and maroon.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so he gets to the Tusken Raider camp, and he kills all of them, and not just the men.
The women,
But the women.
and the children.
And the children, too.
Well, yeah, and what prompts him to do that is his mother dying in his arms.
Yes, she
Yeah.
does.
His mother-
Because she is alive
Yeah,
when he finds her.
Yeah, she is absolutely alive.
Barely hanging on.
Barely.
Dies in his arms, and then he just flies off the handle and submits to the dark
So
side.
he does. That's what it is. It's submission to the dark side, because it's all anger at that point. And then later on we see other emotions that are essentially associated with Sith. Okay, because he's grieving, he's mourning, he's sad, he's, suffering.
Yeah, and like he goes back, tells Padme what he did, like you said, not just the men, but the women and children too, and it's just like, I want to be able to stop death.
No, whenever you say that, you have to deliver it like Hayden Christensen did. You have to deliver that.
You gotta
line.
throw the thing across the room.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. And not just the men, but the women. And the children, too.
And then because now this goes back to Obi-Wan, because like in that same rant, he's like, Obi-Wan keeps holding me back. And fucking
Yeah, he really kind of has resentment towards
Obi-Wan.
Because
this is before, so like this is something that kind of gets tied up. I say this all the time. If you watch the Clone Wars and stuff, so you learn from Ben, Obi-Wan, in New Hope that they were great friends and all this relationship. You see that in Clone Wars. So what's happening in Attack of the Clones is before all of that friendship and love that they grow to have for each other. So, like, yes, absolutely, there's a resentment for Anakin to have, because this is the only life, not the only life he's known. He was ripped from his mother. He's only known a slave life. And now there's this guy who wasn't even supposed to train him, and I could see how he can see it being, he's controlling me and holding me back and I can see it. I can, as an objective person, I can sit back and say, I get it. The dialogue might be terrible. The acting might not be that great. But I fucking get it. I can get it. Putting it all together.
So, at that point, he's just like, okay, I don't want to see like death. I want to be able to try to stop death. I don't want my mom to be able to die, shit like that.
Right.
And then where do they head from there?
They get the distress signal. R2 gets the distress signal from Obi-Wan, and they do contact the Jedi Council, but then they also go.
Yes.
Because he's like, I can't go, and she's like, well, I can't, motherfucker, and you gotta protect me.
Yeah.
Stupid fucking Padme.
They were like, stay put, don't go anywhere. And
Yeah.
she's like, I'm a senator. I'm gonna do what I want.
I'm a senator.
I'm a senator.
You have to protect me, and I'm going here. So
they go to Geonosis, and at this point, we go back to Obi-Wan now, and he is captured, and Dooku straight up tells him, hey, there is a Sith Lord controlling everything that happens in the Senate. And Obi-Wan's like, nah, we would know. Like, we would fucking know that. And this kind of, if you kind of pick up on this stuff, this is the shroud of darkness that the Sith is putting over the Jedi right now. Like, Yoda alludes to it throughout the entire prequel trilogy, that they can't see things anymore because the shroud of the fucking Sith has almost created a veil over their visions.
Yeah.
And so this is part of that, because Sidious, Palpatine, is right under their fucking noses, but they can't see it. And Dooku fucking straight up tells Obi-Wan, and he's like, no way, there's not a chance. And then,
Arrogance.
Arrogance of the Jedi, back to that. We see a lot of that in the prequel trilogy, like, Jedi's numbering 10,000, and then eventually we'll get to Revenge of the Sith eventually. But, so, Anakin and Padme end up getting captured after a nice little fun run through the factory.
Yeah.
Which... I like that scene. Because in the beginning of the movie, he loses his lightsaber and Obi-Wan catches it, and then
he's like, "This is your life."
Yeah, and then he breaks his lightsaber in that whole thing. But I like it not for the movie, for the mere part that C-3PO is just ridiculous.
So, dude, his puns are so over the top. Later on, we get to that too when they're in the arena.
Yeah,
but yeah, 3PO is ridiculous. And I guess we should talk about why he even gets there, right? Because he is serving Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru and the other fucking Shmi's husband. And he decides Anakin's taking him. He's going with them, with R2.
Yeah,
and
I built you. You're mine.
Yeah, you're coming with me. You got coverings now. Let's go. So they get captured. They get taken to the arena to be executed, essentially, by each hero has their own animal that's going to kill them.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan gets a creature whose name escapes me right now, but I know that it comes from the planet Felucia. Anakin gets that fucking
the bull
thing.
Yeah.
And Padme gets the little cat.
The weird thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And they all end up getting out of their chains and escaping like we knew they would.
Yeah.
And
it was just a supervillain style trap.
Yeah.
Just you could just shoot them or cut their heads off with a lightsaber, but they made a whole thing.
We're in a coliseum. It brings back the whole all the Geonosians are watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a great bit on Robot Chicken about that. It's so they escape, and then Mace Windu with pretty much a legion of fucking Jedi show up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is the most Jedi we've ever seen at this point, right? Because this is obviously before the Great Jedi Purge. So we see a bunch of Jedi coming in, and then they eventually get rounded up too. There's just too many battle droids. And right as our heroes are about to meet their demise again, we see the beginning of the Clone Wars, right? The first battle of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, Yoda comes down like a boss.
Yoda comes down and says a line that... Okay, here's my thing. When you're giving orders to in crucial situations, in battle... I get Yoda talks this way, but this is how he fucking says it. He says, "Around the survivors, a perimeter create." Mm-hmm. Okay, information like that is time is of the essence here. So maybe just fucking say create a perimeter around the survivors, real quick, get it out. But please, I don't know, this is taking too much time.
I don't know. He started with the subject first, because you could just be if we're talking about time, if these precious words matter, he said create a perimeter. Well, where the hell do you want a perimeter? I don't know. But then you could he's starting out with around the survivors. Oh, well, that kind of makes sense immediately. That's our focus, the survivors.
But now I'm thinking long term. Later on, when he's giving orders like that, it's bro, you gotta get him out. You gotta get him quicker. Maybe in a better... You're right. I'll give that to you. I don't agree with you very often. You're right. So I'll give you that. But anyways, the clones pop in and... A lot of fucking clones. We got a whole battle going on here.
Balling out.
Mm-hmm. Right? One thing that kind of bugs me, I guess, it's a nitpicky thing, is obviously you both know, the process and kind of the way Jedi get their lightsabers. It's a process. It's you come up and when they get there and Obi-Wan and Anakin's, they just throw them some extras.
Yeah.
I was okay. Yeah, I get it. They probably got a bunch of spare lightsabers, rolling around, but it's a nitpicky, I know.
We had these in the closet.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So,
Grievous hasn't taken these ones yet.
yeah.
These are spares. The trigger's a little finicky. You gotta wiggle it.
So I just want to throw that out there a little bit. It's a finicky. It's a nitpicky thing, so... But then the battle starts, and Obi-Wan and Anakin are going to chase Count Dooku.
Yeah, then we start to focus on them a little bit more.
We're just gonna skip over Django getting his head cut
I
off.
was like-
I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah, we can go back to that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, they do focus on him, but like, Kyle's absolutely right. There's no way we can skip over Mace Windu
Just cutting his head off in front of his son.
right in front of his
Just-
son.
I want to know why. I want to know what Django was thinking,
I got this guy, and then
but he didn't.
he didn't.
You don't. He didn't.
I mean, he had his jetpack, and then he didn't have.
He had his
jetpack.
Beskar. Like apparently, Beskar is gonna stop lightsabers.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's-
but not at the neck.
Not at the neck. It's like Mace Windu knew. He was like, hey, you know, I know.
And you see, the is it fuchsia? You want purple? Whatever. The coolest lightsaber in all of Star Wars.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, that was his contract deal. Was like, I want a purple lightsaber if I'm
Yeah,
gonna do this.
it's still pretty sweet.
It is. It is.
Easily the coolest lightsaber in all of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
I beg to differ, sir.
Easily
No way.
the coolest.
I don't know.
Ahsoka's got white lightsabers, dude.
Well, I mean, the coolest one, like the
that's
first
cooler
one you
than
ever
purple?
saw, I mean, was Darth Maul. So you saw the double.
Okay.
That's
Oh shit.
Pretty.
Damn,
sweet.
we're throwing. Dude, there's actually a lot. Okay, like yeah. Okay, let's do tiers. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We can hit a tier list of that later with Mace Windu's at the top because that's where it belongs.
It's just
I think you guys are just fanboying out because it's the first different colored lightsaber we have ever seen.
It's badass, and it's like
Before that point, there was only blue, green, and red.
So then you're fanboying out because it's, double-ended? That you could say the same thing for anything.
I don't know. The double-ended is pretty sweet too.
And the purple's pretty
But the
sweet, too.
purple-
But like, maybe I just love Ahsoka. I don't know. I was a big
Ahsoka's
fan of
cool.
Ahsoka. So
After Mace Windu
after Django loses his head in battle,
after he
literally
just,
literally
gets his
figuratively.
head cut off, and then his son picks up his helmet, his head falls out of it.
We didn't see his head falling out, but I imagine that probably happened.
Yeah, that's in my brain.
I mean, because that's the armor that fucking Bubba's gonna wear eventually. So like, he had to take his dad's head out of the helmet eventually.
But that's just a cool I know who you are now because it's Boba Fett.
Yeah.
That's so fat.
Yep,
Everybody loves Boba Fett.
exactly. So then we have Obi-Wan and Anakin, chasing down Dooku.
Padme falls out.
Mm-hmm.
Padme falls out, and Anakin's like, "Well, stop the ship, and everyone's like, "Dude, you will be kicked out of the Jedi. Like, shut your fucking horny mouth,
Yeah, focus on the mission.
and then we're gonna go get this. We can stop this war right now."
We're going to take care of it.
Okay, good. Can we get to the battle now? The duel? Because there's something I want to point out immediately.
Okay, all right. Clearly, you have a hard-on for this duel.
I
you
don't.
Gonna burst
I don't.
Are you going to burst
No,
if we
I'm
don't
gonna
talk about the duel?
I'm gonna hit some nitpicky shit.
No, it's
again.
totally fine. I want to talk about some other things right before we get into the duel.
Go ahead.
I'm just fucking...
I know you are. So they get in there and they're gonna fight him, and Obi-Wan says, "We'll take them together. You go in slowly on the left," and it's like he's not whispering this to him.
Yeah.
It's like Dooku can hear all of this.
Hey man, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Hey, I know he's going left.
It doesn't fucking matter because Anakin's like, "No, I'm taking him now," and he just fucking runs in there and gets force lightninged immediately.
Yeah.
Which is the first time, other than
The Emperor.
the Emperor, you see Force lightning, and it was like, oh,
You know how powerful that is.
This guy's legit.
Oh, that fucking hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You ain't getting up.
I mean, really, a good battle ensues, but they really are no match for him.
No, they're not. You can see that he's just fucking around with... It reminded me of Vader fucking around with Luke in Empire. Mm-hmm. The way Dooku was just kind of dicking around with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
You also see another dope-ass lightsaber with the curve.
Oh,
That
the curved handle he's got.
Yeah.
And so he makes quick work of Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
and then we see Yoda.
Well, first.
Hold on. Let's talk about Anakin's arm.
Yeah, because then Anakin's like, well, I got him.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. He gets back up.
I'll just take
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's lightsaber, and now I have two.
Haha.
Ha
Okay, so...
It doesn't work.
No.
Spoiler alert.
No,
it doesn't
no.
work.
He gets it fucked up. Like, he fucks up Obi-Wan's lightsaber. Because we know that... Or is it his lightsaber that gets fucked up? Either way, Dooku chops one in half at the handle.
Mm-hmm.
So he's back to just one. And same thing. He's just fucking with Anakin. Like, Anakin at this point, still very much a Padawan, right? We know the potential he has. We obviously know he's the chosen one, quote unquote. But at this point in his Jedi career, he's no match for fucking Count Dooku at all.
Yeah.
And he does get his arm chopped chopped off.
He just gets it chopped off.
He gets like force stunned because if you watch that scene again, like he's like swinging and then he just like freezes for a good like 2 or 3 seconds before Dooku chops off.
And he
that arm.
slices him and then pushes him away.
Yeah, and like he's bored. Dooku just looks bored. He's just like,
yeah, I'm so good.
and
Just
that's
get
when
out
we
here.
get fucking Yoda.
And then little Yoda comes in.
Got little Yoda coming in.
And first Dooku's like trying to throw a bunch of shit at him, and he's just like throwing it away. Like, no, that stuff is not. I'm actually badass, so I'm not Obi-Wan or Anakin.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm
right
a
now.
legit
Yeah.
Jedi master. Like
He like shoots. Yeah,
I'm not only that, but for those who don't know, Dooku was Yoda's Padawan.
that's right.
So he knows.
So he's like, yeah, dude, shut the fuck up.
I taught you all of this.
Yeah.
Like, don't fuck with the master.
I really love that Obi-Wan or Anakin. Jesus, I really love that Yoda says, "The dark side I sense in you." Like, no shit.
Yeah, dude, you just threw lightning
he
at
threw
him.
force lightning at you.
He was
Like,
lightning at you. You chopped off Anakin's arm. Like,
no shit. I've sensed the dark
He's
side.
not gonna
in
go
you.
and have some tea.
you know,
This guy's dark.
in other news, water is wet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they fight, and I feel like
Little hoppy son of a bitch.
he was hopping around,
That little
dude.
fucking frog, dude.
Couldn't, yeah, you weren't getting him.
That's what the ears are for.
Yeah.
I mean, Obi-Wan, God, gee, I keep doing this. Yoda was going to win that fight. And Dooku creates a distraction, right? Threatening to kill Anakin and Obi-Wan. And he has to save them, and Dooku escapes. And then he flies back to Coruscant and meets with Sidious. And lets him know that everything is going according to plan.
According to
This
plan.
was the plan.
according to plan.
Right, because when Dooku is back on Geonosis before the battle, he's talking to the other Separatist leaders, and he's saying, like, oh my god, how could they have gotten an army? Like, he's acting all shocked, like he doesn't know. But this is the plan. For what? We don't quite know yet.
Mm-hmm.
But according to Dooku and Sidious, this is what they wanted. Which makes it kind of ominous. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and I mean that's really we don't see much more. There's not much left at that point of the movie.
Well, except for, probably the biggest turning point in Anakin's life.
Yeah,
Right? You see him and Padme get married.
Yeah. Yeah. With his robot hand.
Dude, that robot hand was creepy. Like, remember
like-
Luke's robot
almost
hand
like
from
gold.
Empire?
Yeah.
Like, they created, like, a hand, and it was robot underneath. He looked like the Terminator.
Yeah.
Anakin's looked like the Terminator
it was just
skeleton.
like, whoa, hey man, like this is creepy.
And she was, like, holding it, and I was like, do you really want to hold that? Is that a warm feeling?
But not to backtrack, because
No.
we skipped over
You can keep
something, so-
backtracking, that's fine.
So, during the actual battle, because there was a little bit of a battle sequence with Yoda and the Trade Federation, there's a scene where they start to leave. The Trade Federation's leaving Geonosis, and you see them grab schematics for the Death
The
Star.
Death Star.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's right.
Finally ties in, like, oh, these guys are
Planning this shit.
bad.
Yeah,
and
'cause I
lead to
think-
some kind of empire, because obviously there's the
Yep.
Death Star.
I forgot about that. It's like a little handheld schematic.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
that's big. And then, I mean, this is the beginning of the Clone Wars. Yoda says it. He says the begun the Clone Wars have.
Yeah.
And I guess this might be jumping forward a little too far, but Clone Wars explores this.
Mhm.
Is like the creation of the clones. Like, since their inception, like, you don't get this mentioned in the movies at all. So when Order 66 finally happens, eventually, like, you're just like, oh, they just turned on the Jedi. But, like,
Whoa, we're jumping.
I know we're jumping ahead,
Let's
but
save that.
But no, that's okay. But I'm just saying, like, because we're not gonna be able to get to it in our Revenge of the Sith conversation, is that, like, you find out about, like, how that can just happen like that. And I feel like that could have been maybe somehow added like in an exposition in this movie, maybe at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. But in Clone Wars, it explains, like, these clones aren't just typical clones. They're not. They've been bred for, war, but they've also been bred for a separate purpose.
There was a plot to destroy the Jedi.
I mean, I feel like
As Mace Windu.
is it like it's not a crazy stretch to just even if that wasn't explained to you. It's not kind of a crazy thing to think about. Like, yeah, of course, all of these things were created. So even if it was never actually explained, drawn out, you can kind of infer, like, okay, yeah, they were all made the same way. So clearly there is something that causes them to have to abide by this.
Or maybe just like a little scene where like someone is looking into this fucking clone army, like not just like in the movie we get, oh, we have a clone army, let's use them. Maybe like an exposition scene where someone, maybe not a Jedi, maybe a senator, maybe someone who works for the Senate, is like in Camino and is like, oh, like I'm looking at the the computer here that says you did this. What is this chip about? And then they get killed or something, like to keep them quiet. And then like that's the end of that scene.
I don't know. I don't feel like we need to be spoon-fed everything, I feel like it's okay for some things to not be fully explained. Like, it's not a far stretch for what they did explain. It was nothing that was outlandish or, like, that I think, anyways, merited a crazy in-depth explanation.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at them and go, wow, they look like stormtroopers. Oh, weird.
I suppose. Wow. But overall, when we talk about this movie, thoughts about this is our second movie of like the new trilogy that came out in our era of like, we were, when this movie came out, I think I was like maybe...
I was 10. I
was around there, like an early teenager, 12, 13 maybe.
Yeah, I think it was junior high, because I remember I was in high school when...
Revenge of the Sith came out. I was in high school. I was a junior.
Yeah, I think it was sophomore, I think.
Yeah. So...
for me... the lowest rated movie of the 6.
Yeah, I really feel like this one was just kind of a push. Like, let's just get this one over with.
Yeah.
Because we really want to get to what the story of Anakin turning. Like, it really just kind of feels rushed.
And not even because, like, I think it's a bad movie. It's just, for me, like, yeah, there's key points of it, but, like, it's forgettable.
Oh, yeah.
It's extremely forgettable.
I've probably watched this the least out of any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree, because like when I think about, I want to watch a Star Wars movie, Attack of the Clones is at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, you got
every time.
Yeah, it is. Of the 6, it is. And then
the weird Obi-Wan transition to look like Qui-Gon, but not quite.
But not
like
quite.
Yeah.
This guy's some weird hair going on.
Yeah, the whole movie, it's just weird.
It is weird. And it's rushed, like you said. I can agree with that. I'll hop on that.
Yeah, it's like, let's just push this entire war into one and not only that, into about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So we can go on to Anakin and Obi-Wan fucking each other up.
Perfect. I mean, yeah, that kind of sums up the movie. So it is absolutely everybody's favorite segment. Hot route.
Hot route.
All right. So for our first hot route. There's a lot of time that passes in between episode 1 and 2. I think it's the most time that passes between, like, in one singular trilogy. It's the most time that passes.
But, yeah.
Like,
the 3,
between episodes 4 and 5, there's some time.
Know, there's
5
like
and 6, there's some time.
Yeah.
But between 1 and 2, there's 10 years that pass. In between that time, what would you have liked to see most?
It's a good one. It's a good question.
I really would like to see what goes into Jedi training. I know you see a little bit with Luke and Yoda in Empire, but like it would be really cool to see like you start from nothing and here it all is. And you see a little bit in Star Wars and Clone Wars. You see a little bit of it, so you get bits and pieces. But it'd be really cool to see like you started as nothing and now you're a legit Jedi Knight.
To see a decent amount of the process, because like Yoda training Luke, it's really like some backwoods shit,
right? Yeah,
like
pick up these rocks, cool. Pick up this ship.
Yeah,
I can't.
But
you failed.
Definitely to see like the actual Jedi training process, and because there's so many steps, you have your Padawans, and then you have Anakin at that age.
Yeah,
this older age is still a Padawan, but the training is gonna be different.
Yeah,
so
and they dive into like you'd mentioned earlier. They dive into in Rebels. You see them make their younglings making their lightsabers and going to Ilum. Is that how you say it? Ilum?
I don't know how to say it. It's been too long.
Ilum,
but yeah, they go to a planet and just they get their kyber crystals.
Yeah,
as a rite of passage.
Yeah, exactly.
So that'd be interesting to see really Jedi training. I don't really know if there's anything else to see. I mean, the Star Wars is all about Jedi. So.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know I'd like that, and I can hop on that. But to me, I'd like to see what's going on, because it is canon that during the events of Phantom Menace, Darth Plagueis is still alive. Sidious hasn't killed him yet. So I kind of want to see that dynamic with Sidious and his master, but also how he hashes out this plan, recruits Dooku, recruits the Separatists.
Okay.
The clones get
The
made.
whole other side of it.
I want to see
yeah.
the whole other side of it. I want to see that. So
Nice.
that's something I'd like to see.
Nice. I dig that. I like that a lot. All right, hot route number 2. So we're starting to see a little bit more of the Jedi Council. We can see we see in some of these battles a lot more Jedi than we've seen in, well, any movie since, previous and since. That's the most amount of Jedi I feel like we've seen.
Yep.
So who's your favorite Jedi on the Council?
Mine's a deep take.
Okay.
But it's there was a game called Jedi Starfighter, and in the game you play Adigalia, who's
I love
on the
Adigalia.
Jedi Council.
Nice.
So
Watch Clone Wars, by the way. You'll see her fate.
yeah. So you see it in Return of the Jedi, or not Return of the Jedi.
Revenge of the
the
Sith?
Sith. You see her fate.
I thought that she dies in Clone Wars.
They might, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure Savaz Opress kills her.
No, I'm pretty sure she's the one that gets killed by a bunch of clones on speeders.
Oh, okay. No, that's
Yeah.
not Adigalia.
Oh, okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to fucking be a dick.
No, you're good. but I like her just because of the Jedi Starfighter game. I played so much of it, so it was like, oh yeah, that was her.
Yeah, I dig that. I like it.
Yeah.
Dude, nothing beats nostalgia.
No, it doesn't
Yeah.
because I'm going the same way. I didn't mean to step on your toes.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm just such a nerd. Mine is Plo Koon, Master Plo.
Okay.
Who
So like you
finds Ahsoka.
you see him. He doesn't have any dialogue or anything in the movies. In Revenge of the Sith, he gets taken out in a starfighter.
He does.
He's flying around.
Yeah.
But in Clone Wars, dude is like, I don't know, like everything you'd want in a Jedi because he cares about the clones. He cares about the Padawans. Because Mace Windu's cold.
Yeah.
Yoda is... I didn't want to say Yoda because that's the go-to answer.
Right.
Master Plo is badass. And he's just caring in a way that kind of you'd think would be not so much a Jedi way.
Yeah.
But he still doesn't have those attachments, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He gives a shit.
Yeah.
So it's Master Plo.
Absolutely. I dig that. Absolutely. I didn't go, the Mace Windu route, the Yoda route. I could definitely even see the Ki-Adi-Mundi, for sure.
No, fuck yeah. Well, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Sorry, if you don't follow prequel memes, you're missing out.
All right. Solid answers, guys. And for our last hot route. You know what Yoda says about training Anakin. What the council says about training Anakin is just too much emotion. Too much has happened to him.
Yeah,
too
fear.
much trauma has happened to him.
Kid's seen some shit.
Was Yoda right?
Yeah, we all know the fate, so yeah, probably.
I would say no. We've had this conversation before. He just was trained by the wrong Jedi. You were going to say something.
No. Go
But
back.
we had this conversation before. He was trained by the wrong Jedi. We've talked about how if Qui-Gon was the guy that was his master, things would be different. There are other Jedi.
Yeah, because Obi-Wan essentially was his master before Obi-Wan had passed the trials. He had just passed the trials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, essentially a Padawan trained a Padawan.
Yeah. And so I don't think the council was right. I think, and that's the thing about visions. And Yoda says this many times. He's like, we see visions. Are they going to happen? Maybe. They could. So everything that the council was sensing in Anakin, viable, could happen, accurate, but it also could have went a different way. And this goes back to, like I said, the conversation you've had about if Qui-Gon had trained him. If Obi-Wan wasn't forced to train him by a promise that he made to Qui-Gon. If another Jedi took Anakin. There are other Jedi that you get introduced to in novelizations and the shows that are canon now that are the same kind of mentality as Qui-Gon. And they could have done this too. It's not taking anything away from Obi-Wan, because that motherfucker is my favorite. That one was badass. King of Sass in Clone Wars. This is the greatest dialogue ever is from Obi-Wan.
But maybe not quite the right figure to be raising such a traumatized child.
Right. A volatile child.
Volatile, perfect.
No one checked him. He just kind of let Anakin run wild, and every now and then was like, maybe not.
Yeah, and you think...
but I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah.
You'd think that with everything on the line, everything that the council saw, that they wouldn't have a hand in it as well.
They'd have a little bit more tact.
Yeah, or just interest. A vested interest in his training. Like, hey, he could be the chosen one. Maybe we should pay the fuck attention.
Yeah.
Like, his training could go bad. Maybe we should make sure it doesn't.
Right.
So it's on the council as much as it's on fucking Anakin.
Yeah. All right. So perfect. Yoda was kind of right. Yoda kind of wasn't right. Yeah. Awesome. Well, those are solid answers to some hot routes. So we've wrapped up 5 of our 6 Star Wars movies. So this has been another episode of Almost Agreeable. As always, I'm Ed.
I'm Chris, and we have Kyle's. So thanks for coming by, Kyle. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to another episode of Almost Agreeable. You can catch new episodes every Wednesday and Friday. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Almost Agreeable.